What's up, good people? It's Miss Turner, Parent and Family Engagement here at Churchland High School, coming to you with yet another episode of Trucker Connect. Today, we have a special guest, one that is our very own trucker, Miss Alex. She is the new music instructor here at Churchland High School. And today, our focus is going to be on gifts. As you all may know, she was one of the participants for the Voices of Fire, Pharrell's Choir here in Virginia that showcased it many talents and brought together a huge choir. And she was one of those individuals that were chosen. And so the prompting question of today is, where are your gifts going to take you? And understanding that your gifts will make room. So I know that she has a long resume and I refuse to take and continue to botch it. So I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. So without further ado, introducing Miss Alex, her very own self. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Thank you.
Oh, yes, certainly. So this is your first year here at Churchland, correct?
It is. This is my first year as choral director at Churchland, so I'm excited. I came from Waters Middle School, so I did elementary, then middle school for a few years. So I'm on the high school level, so I'm super excited. Love the students. We're in virtual, so it is very different, but I love my students. They're super cool. They're super supportive. So yeah, I'm enjoying my time here, even though it's virtual.
Right. This is an adjustment for everybody. And I'm just grateful just to have you on board, because in a lot of cases, people don't really know that behind the scenes. And so I've seen you in the area a couple of times. You've served on ministries at the Mount, as well as taking and doing backup singing. And for some reason, I was on Netflix not too long ago and I saw a familiar face and I said, hold up, I'm good with faces. I'm horrible with names, but I'm great with faces. And I said, is that her? So you were recently featured on the Netflix Voices of Fire that was basically hosted by Pharrell and his uncle, correct?
Correct. Yes, I'm up there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I'm super grateful for the opportunity just to it's a different level of exposure. So I am very grateful for the opportunity.
So what was that whole experience like?
It was a lot in a short amount of time. If you have not seen the series, number one, go watch the series so we can get some ratings. But number two, it was just a lot in a small amount of time. It was pretty much how they portrayed it on the show. You send in your audition, and I kind of just sent in a tape. I had people send me the link for this stuff because it was a Virginia pilot. And they would send me this stuff, and I was kind of like, I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to audition and do that whole thing. I've done a lot of music stuff for years, and it was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to, go this route again.
Right.
So I submitted a video like on the last day to submit videos, like at 10 o'clock at night. I was just like, I'm just gonna do it, and if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, I'm okay with that too. That just wasn't for me. And so you get through the whole process, you get a phone call, I think I got an email first, saying that I made it past the first audition. That was the first audition. And then they wanted me to come and audition in person. So, they gave you a list of stuff you can sing and do all of this. So I go to this in-person audition, and this long line wrapped around the building. And it's just kind of like, okay, kind of just getting my nerves together and kind of put my head in the game and just kind of, really being focused. But again, just really kind of taking in the whole experience. So that was a whole experience in itself. That was like an all day thing. I think I was there from like 10 a.m. to like 5 o'clock. I think I literally sang around like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
And do that. And then literally how the show, if you watch the show, after the audition process, it was literally just like, we had 3 weeks to pull together a whole concert. And then after that, it was like learn music. You're trying to mesh with people that you've never sung with, people that may have never sung the style of music. So it was just a lot of things at one time to kind of take in.
Right.
It's kind of just been, we've just been going from there. So.
Wow. So, I mean, to have that opportunity just to become available to the point that last minute Once again, your gifts will make room for you. That, who would have thought, like, being last minute and still being able to be in the forefront. So in a lot of cases, I guess a big takeaway is just because you may be last does not mean you won't have an opportunity to be first. And so
Exactly.
you may not be where you want to be, or thinking or contemplating, am I good enough? But the key is that we just gotta just press submit.
Step out there, jump out there, take that
Yep.
step. Be confident in what you bring to the table, be confident in who you are and enough, and just say, I'm going to. Sometimes it's that one step that we need. In this case, it was that one step that I needed to just say, okay, I'm going to do this. And, it's just opened up a crazy amount of doors.
That's amazing. So let's get this behind the scenes. I mean, you didn't just start singing. So, like, when did you start? What gave you that spark? Or how did you know this was a part of your assignment of life and your purpose, and just being able to grow in that throughout the years? What was that like?
Well, I had very supportive, or I don't say had, I have very supportive parents, just at a young age. When they saw the ability to be able to sing, they put me in private voice lessons. I attended, it's a performing arts school, very similar to Churchland. This one caters to all of Hampton Roads,
Okay.
Government School for the Arts. So I attended that, then went to school, got my degree for music. And then from there, once I graduated with my degree in vocal performance, so I'm classically trained. So that's what I studied. And then when I got that degree, was just kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? Degree, and so I stepped away from kind of, well, I wasn't really in music full time.
Mhm.
I taught at a private music school prior to teaching public school. And, I always had a love for teaching, but never really thought about it on the full time, public school thing. I did it part time, did private voice lessons, that type of thing. And then, some people are like, Alex, why don't you teach? And, you love kids, you do stuff with church, you do this with the community. Why don't you teach? And it was just kind of a thing. I stepped out there on faith and just kind of put myself out there. And, here we are 6 years later, and I'm still teaching.
Wow, that's amazing. Once again, it will make room for you.
It will, it will, it will.
And so what does a gift mean to you? I know it's something that we often throw around, but if you had to put a definition to a gift, because it's important to understand, like, to basically have a habit or interest in something, but then to be able to have a gift, what does that mean for you?
I would say it's something that you do that's special. It's not necessarily perfection, because what you do is unique. What everybody does is unique. So, sometimes people think my gift has to be perfect. It has to have perfection associated with it. That's not the case. It's something that that you do, and that's been placed in you to be able to be a blessing, or to motivate, or to inspire other people. And so, what your gift is, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is fact, but in my opinion, by people's response. And we don't do things for the response of people, but when you have a gifting, it does inspire people. It does bless people. Michael Jordan, his talent was playing basketball, but his gifting, I believe, was to inspire young people to do things like that. So it's how you are able to, in a sense, pay it forward, how you're able to push people by what you do.
Right. And so, like, basically, a gift is something that you give.
Yeah.
And so if you have a hobby, if you have a habit or an interest, and it does not give something apart from yourself, then could we really classify that as a gift? Better yet, purpose. I'm big on like taking and getting out of a place of just fulfilling positions, but for us to fulfill purpose. And purpose is the reason for the very existence.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, we find ourselves confusing even gifts to purpose. You may be talented in a particular thing, but you may not be assigned to take and be here at this divine time to
Right.
be able to be a blessing to others. So in that, like, how did it feel to be a part of something so big, and to know that you went through so many auditions and even traveling and all of that, to still find yourself to have that identity amongst all of that talent?
Okay, so in regards to just being in that type of environment with those talented people, it pushed me to be confident in in what I do and what I bring to the table and who I am as a person. It can be very intimidating. The world with social media, it's all about comparison. You see this, you're like, oh man, I wish I did that. I wish I did this. I wish I looked like that. I wish I had these grades. All of these things, we find ourselves constantly comparing ourselves to someone else, and we don't know their backstory. We don't know the things that they had to do to get to that point. So for me, it made me very appreciative of where I am now. And it let me know that what I bring to the table may not be for everyone, but it is for someone. And that it is a gifting that is still special, even though it may be different. And so I think it then, encourages others that you can be different. You can not be cookie cutter or not, look a certain way or be this talented with this or feel like you do everything perfect, but still be necessary and still be impactful in what you do.
That's good stuff. That is good stuff. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I view you as a celebrity. You know you were gonna say that. And so we can honestly say that you're basically like in the humble stages of being a celebrity. And not to say those that may be, but like I have heard you sing, I have witnessed, and I've even seen the doors that you've walked through in the little bit of time that I've known of you. And I think in a lot of cases, we judge our success based on the position or the sense of arrival. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you have got a large response because of people seeing you participate in the Netflix special, opposed to knowing, hey, you've been right in our own backyard. And I say that is at an humble stage because it's a blessing to know that you still can go to Walmart, and not have a mob come and basically like attack you. And not knocking that, but in every stage, I think it's important for us to celebrate where we are and to not allow that to be the determining factor of our value and our worth. And so in that, how have you found yourself dealing with this new attention or new, questions here and there and all that has arisen as a result of you participating in this Netflix special?
Well, like you said, I've been doing this for a long time. Probably since I was, been singing since I was a child, but, really doing things with different artists beyond just this area, probably since I was like 18. So and I'm a little bit past 18. So, for me, it was just kind of seeing the seeds that I planted start to, cultivate in and see the fruit of those things. So for me, it was never a thing of, oh, I've arrived. No, I haven't arrived. I'm still here. I'm still teaching and helping my students be great and helping them improve, because to me, that's where I want to be, quote unquote, famous. I want to be famous with my students and not a thing that they see me up there. I want it to be that I put something in them so it was memorable for them. I sowed some type of seed, whether it's, music or something else long term that they can. That's where I find my, my notoriety. That's where I want to be noted with my students within longevity. So for me, it's not a thing of, wow, like I said, I've arrived. I'm not. I think, you get more questions and you get people, oh, I didn't know. And I'm a very low key type of person. You won't know unless you, follow on social media or something like that, or you happen to see me sing somewhere. You won't know. I've never been that type of person to kind of push myself out there. And so I think this has been an adjustment. I am grateful that I am not at the place where it is. I go somewhere and people, and hey, I don't know if that's really me. There's a whole different level of responsibility, I think, when you get to that stage. People watch you now, and the platform with Netflix, it's around the world. So I get people, messaging me, hey, I saw, from Australia and, China, all these different places. And I love it. But I think you also take on a different responsibility in how you portray yourself, how you carry yourself, the things you put out there, especially with social media, because then that influences people, and so I think it's like you said, it's different stages, it's different levels, and you have to be ready for all of those. So I am grateful. I'm the coast. I am very grateful because, again, to whom much is given, much is required, and there is a large requirement when you get beyond there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love how you kept mentioning seeds, and I think that is the greatest gift, and one where someone's legacy shall never die. I mean, when you look at the Martin Luther Kings and the Rosa Parks and all those major icons of our history, and understanding that if you think about it, they're able to still live on because of the seeds that they're planting. I mean, for us to have a gift and only gain for ourselves, what good has that done? But to be able to say 10 years from now, you may get an inbox, or you're watching Netflix, or you're taking and looking at a movie or something, to say, oh my gosh, that was one of my students.
Exactly. That's
That
what
is
it's for.
one. Yep, that's rewarding. And so in that time, what are some things, I guess, for any parent? This is for parents, this is for students, this is for that teacher that may be at a crossroads, or that individual that may be doing something, working in their gifts part-time. What are some things that you can encourage people to do now to get ready for that then? Because we think that if it's that certain phone call, that certain interview, that everything's just going to fall into place. But it's important to be at a place of preparation, so that when we get there, it's not overwhelming. We're not fumbling trying to figure out what to do. So what advice would you give any individual that may be at that beginning stage of their gifts?
I would say enjoy the process. And I think with, again, I hate to keep saying with social media, but it is social media feeds and fuels everything. So I think we have been this thought that everything happens overnight, that is this popcorn success. And I mean, so for some people that is the case. They post one YouTube video, they post one TikTok, they post, and the right person reposts, and then now they're a sensation. But then they soon fizzle out. It's just like that one thing. And so appreciate and strive for longevity, not necessarily in something that happens instantly. And then two, there's a saying, it's like get ready or stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You always have got to constantly be growing. For the students who are in school now, it's been a progression. You went from pre-K to kindergarten, and now you're in high school. You're constantly progressing. There is a process that you have to go through. It's the same thing with anything. If you want to be a doctor, there's a process. There's work you have to put in to get the benefits of of being a doctor, or being a scientist, or being a teacher, or a fireman, whatever the case may be. There's something you have to be put in. So trust the process, be ready, find out what you have to do now to get to a certain point. And then still be okay that even if you don't get to that point, where you've gotten is still necessary and is still good. Again, a lot of times we try to gauge ourselves by, oh, well, this person got that far, I should get there. Maybe it's not for you, and sometimes we're not realistic with ourselves. We can say, I want to do that. I want to be there. I want to be where this person is. But maybe your purpose and what you're supposed to do is a little bit different. Maybe it's something, and you'll find that out later on down the road. So I would just say trust the process. Constantly put in the work, and that's including school. Putting yourself out there, and constantly rising to the occasion in school, and the stuff that you do, whether it's sports, whatever your passion is, whatever it is. Constantly learn from other people. Ask questions. Ask people questions. How did you do this? What did you do? If you want to be a cosmetologist, find out what you have to do now. Look into classes. Not just classes to learn it. Look into small business things that are going to propel you beyond just limiting yourself to one thing. I think every stage that I've been in has made me prepared for this moment. There were a lot of no's before there was this yes. So it's not just and a lot of no's on the with other artists and other opportunities, and I had to be okay with that. And I think that's why I had some apprehension with this one, like, okay, do I want to go through this again? But again, trusting that those opportunities were necessary in order for me to be prepared and be level-headed and grounded in this, and not be like, oh yeah, I've arrived, and
Yeah.
that. So just really understanding where you are and being appreciative of everything. I'll say that too. Appreciation and gratitude. That's number one, because in the blink of an eye, it can all be gone, and so just being appreciative and in that moment, and just saying, hey, I am super grateful for where I am, and for the opportunity, or whatever the case may be, and I am thriving in this moment now.
That is amazing. Listen, a wealth of knowledge. And just to think, like, all that you had to endure was for whoever this video was for. And so I just thank you for your transparency
Yeah.
and being able to share with us, because parents, and any students, families that are out there looking at this video today, we all have a purpose. We all have an assignment. And it's not by happenstance that even our birthdays were at the time that it was, because of what's inside of us that this world needs. And so it's important that we get out of our own ways, get out of our minds, take and be prepared, as you stated, asking questions of saying, if this is my gift, how can I be a blessing to others? Because at the end of the day, your gift will make room. So if your focus is to be a blessing to others, it's going to come back tenfold. And then asking yourself, what people are doing what it is that I desire to do, so that I'm able to connect with them and get to a place of preparation that I need to be in. And then also asking, and in the position that I have right now, how can I execute that? Instead of waiting to be the celebrity, you're surrounded around classmates, you're surrounded around coworkers, and all these individuals where you can make it a huge impact. I know it was times where I was speaking at conferences and events for free. And when I tell you that it wasn't a low performance, or in my mind, I didn't get paid for it, I poured out every time as if it was my last. And granted, when the big ones came, I was overly grateful, but I didn't sleep on those times, as you stated, for that preparation, because seeds are still being planted when we are sharing our gifts. So I thank you, Miss Alex, for your time today, for you sharing. And so I guess in closing, what are some closing words that you'll have for our trucker family today?
I would say, be confident in who you are. I said this earlier, but this is something that I really do stand by. What you bring to the table is necessary. You are important. You are needed. You are necessary, whether you feel like it every day or you don't feel like it. You are special and unique, and you are needed. So believe that. If you have to say it every morning when you wake up, or every night before you go to bed, believe that, and believe in who you are, even if you feel like, hey, I'm not. Speak it and say it, and those things will start to manifest.
Amen. Oh my gosh. I feel so psyched. Like I'm ready to go and just do a marathon right now, because it's just been good food, like good words of wisdom, good encouragement. And I'm gonna be like a little biased. I'm so grateful Churchland has you, because when we get back in the building, just thinking about the opportunities. So Churchland family, be sure to be on the lookout. Where can they find you on social media?
They can find me on social media. I guess it's more like my music. Well, you'll see if you like see me videos with singing and everything. That I do have a school related social media.
Right, sir.
But right. My personal one, where I do more music things, you'll see stuff about the show and stuff. That Instagram handle and social media is at sign Lexi LEXXY Monet MONET.
Okay, perfect. Y'all be sure to connect. If you have questions, don't overwhelm them. Overwhelm her or take and bombard. But at the same time, she said even herself, ask questions. This is a wealth of knowledge right here in our home of Churchland High School. So be sure to take advantage of this opportunity. As always, family, grace and peace.